Welcome to today's episode of the Retail Is podcast. I'm Abby Cheyenne, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Kylie Ross-Seibert. Our episode today is brought to you by Workplace at E-Commerce Center of Hampton, offers high-security small business workplace office spaces and temperature-controlled storage units of all sizes at reasonable rates and flexible lease terms. And the UPS store provides printing, order fulfillment, and shipping, all under one roof, with lots of free parking, easy access to the interstates, bridge tunnels and local airport, close to shops, restaurants, and hotels, and more. Sorry, that was rough. Today we are joined by John Bundy from Morning Fuel Podcast. Welcome, John.
Hey, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
To get started, could you just tell us a little bit about what your business is, where it is, how long you've been open, all the basics?
Okay, sure. Well, we started in 2019. My daughter said she wanted to be a YouTuber, and I figured I was going to do that with her. She was 14 at the time. And I had a lot of fun doing it and found that folks, business owners that I knew needed video done and were interested in having somebody that knew a little bit more than they did about their social media. So we started then and have been playing around with that sort of stuff for a while. And now we pretty much, we teach as well as do done-for-you services when it comes to producing podcasts, and also helping our clients to start their own podcast. And then also the latest edition is Morning Fuel Media, where we help folks with their custom video content creation and posting and strategy and all that stuff. So lots of fun.
So in terms of that, hi, John, by the way.
Hey.
The video part, do people like produce the video themselves and then you help them sort of do the next element of it, or do you actually help with the video as well? Is that part of your services?
Yes. So we really love to teach people. So our hope is that with our 3-month minimum commitment is that by the end of that 3 months, our clients are brave and want to do, can do it themselves. But we also offer where we do everything. So we have some clients that will do both, where they will record a video, say they get a wild hair and they want to go ahead and talk about what they're thinking about at the moment, and they can send that to us. We give the direction on how to do it and make it look good. And then we edit it for them and also post it in sort of collaboration with them to their social media and all that. We do have clients that want us to do it all, and we can do that as well. So
okay, all right. So if, for instance, someone has an idea, and you're using your expertise and experience and think, well, it's not necessarily, it needs a little help or a little guidance. How
Sure.
open are you with sort of the counseling, mentoring part of that?
Well, we love that, and eventually one day I really would say I'd like to do just that. I love to consult. So I've been in the space of computer art and design for a long time. I'm not going to say how long, but I've got an eye for it and an ear for it. So I love to help people to, get to that finished product and teach them and coach them. We have clients that are currently doing some education, trying to learn how to speak better in front of a camera. So we encourage that. We also teach classes and do lunch and learns in and around the Hampton Roads area, teaching folks how to do it, giving them tips and tricks on how to do it.
So in terms of like in the Hampton Roads area, from when you started, tell us a little bit how you've seen the industry change and progress.
When it comes to social media, I've seen changes in the manner of, for example, Facebook, one of the big ones out there. You used to be able to post and then all of your friends saw your post. Now they want you to pay for it. So you'll see maybe 1 or 2 people see it. If you don't boost that post, you're not going to get the engagement that you desire. Mm-hmm. So trying to do things in a manner that we like to do organically, I don't want to pay Facebook a dime, and I don't. But I like to teach my clients and myself how to do it organically in a way that there are ways to do things that the algorithm on social media likes. So when you do that and you kind of go according to those rules, more people will see your content. And then also reaching out to your fans, asking them to do a simple, easy thing and that's share, have a conversation, react to your content, and then more people will see it. So it used to be easier to do social media. It's gotten difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you see then like the podcast element of that? Because when you first started, there didn't seem to be, locally at least, that many podcasts, but I've seen now it seems to be exploding. What have you seen personally?
Well, I think about it this way. I'm originally from Long Island, New York, and I understand that many times the big cities get the, when it comes to clothing or shoes, they have it first, and then 5 years later you'll see that's the trend in Virginia or other states. So podcasting's been around for a very long time and is very, very popular in the larger cities, bigger population, all that kind of stuff. It's not necessary for that to be the case because podcasting can reach globally. But the experience I've had is that it's about ready to explode in this area. And it's a very, very good idea, like we saw with social media back, 10, 11, 12 years ago, when it was new and it was real easy to be seen. Well, if you get in podcasting right now in this local area, it's going to be real easy for you to be heard. And I think it's very important for business owners and entrepreneurs to get on board.
Okay.
So, John, where did your podcast name come from then? Because you're talking about people making their own podcast and they're going to have to eventually come up with their own name, but like what made you choose this?
Morning Fuel actually really came out of my morning routine. So I understand in my life, in my world, that if I don't get up and do my thing in the morning and kind of get my gears going several hours before I actually leave the house, it's not going to be as good a day as it could have been. So my morning routine is very important to me when it comes to just spending time, in the Bible, spending time in quiet. I've got my own kind of thing that I have going on. I do some yoga, different things like that. And then I go for my cup of coffee. So that morning fuel, that thing that, gets you up in the morning, gets your gears moving, the reason why, the purpose behind what you do. And those are the stories I like to hear. So that's the morning fuel. So when I do an interview, I'm learning about the person behind the business more than the business itself. We do business with people that we know, like, and trust. So I like to introduce those folks and their stories to a larger audience. And, it's a lot of fun. I'm kind of selfish in what I do in a way that I know I'm going to learn and I'm going to grow from the conversation. And I hope to have something to offer in return, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like with Retail Alliance, or I can only speak for myself really, but it feels the same way. We're always learning from the people we talk to. I find it really interesting. Why do they get up in the morning? So we do have similarities across what we do. So that's interesting. Yeah. So I presume, like when I think of morning fuel, it's like coffee. What gets you going?
That's part of the morning routine, right?
So when you're talking about locally in Hampton Roads, is that where you want to stay, like geographically, or do you want to go beyond that? What's your vision?
Well, my vision is to one day be able to do what I do from the beach in Puerto Rico. But I do understand that my favorite thing to do is to meet face to face. So 2020 kind of shut the podcast down for me. Folks weren't meeting face to face, but as soon as I wouldn't say me, but as soon as the guests were brave enough, we got back together. And I personally, I feel a lot is lost in a conversation over Zoom, over virtual. There's body language lost. There's just the vibe or energy in the room. Have you ever felt that when you've gone to a place before where you just feel the energy? So you really have to muster it up virtually. So Morning Fuel will always be a face-to-face podcast. But I mean, I've seen stellar podcasts that, such as your own, that introduced, new businesses to a broader audience. When done well, they can be very cool and very, hard hitting.
Yeah, I think too, with us, we try to make sure that it's as easy as possible for the guests. And a lot of that, especially with retailers and small business owners, is being where they are rather than having to come to us sometimes, because what it's like being an entrepreneur and small business owner. You are pulled in every which way, but you have a business to run. Which
right.
But I see what you're saying, because I have been on your podcast, and it does make a difference being in person, for sure. There is a different dynamic there, and I'm very comfortable either way, but I think a lot of people can be more comfortable maybe with the screen in between them, and others,
sure.
Their personality comes through more, face to face. So it's interesting you say that. Yeah. So is that something that you recommend as part of your training for people to, start their own?
No, whatever's comfortable for you and your clients. We could do a podcast with somebody in Japan, and it'd be like they're right there, But for me, what we do, and my desire, as is, I believe, Retail Alliance desire, to really promote local, and that's my heart. I'm a local business owner. I would, drive past a Walmart to go buy the item that I need, that I can probably pay more for at a local mom and pop. Those are the folks that I want to support. So I'd like to keep what I do when it comes to the podcast local, but when it comes to the teaching and what I can offer, across the interwebs, then I love to do that as well.
Okay. So they kept very separate then, these two things, like you talk about your podcast, and then you talk about your sort of the education training part of it. Is it under the same umbrella, or do you actually do these things separately?
Well, it's all connected.
Okay.
So Morning Fuel podcast, that's my side gig. I don't get paid for doing the podcast. I don't ever charge to have folks on. Right now, currently, I don't have, advertising or sponsors. Maybe one day I will. But the Morning Fuel podcast is my love letter to the business community. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, business owner. I struggled a lot. I've launched out several times into business and failed, but learned something each time. I'd like to be able to offer the stories and inspiration from others to help folks to start their own business. So when it comes to what we do with social media, that's we charge for that service. We have packages, and we also teach. So it is connected, because it's pretty much all the same thing. We're sharing stories.
Mm-hmm.
One is audio. I also, with the podcast, just, such as yourselves, we offer a video component of that. So it's all connected.
Okay. I'd like to hear a little bit more, if you don't mind sharing. Entrepreneurs are known for, trying something, whether they think that, it's always like, well, I'm going to succeed. And sometimes you don't, but you always get back up and try again. Tell us a little bit then, if you don't mind sharing your journey.
Oh, sure. Sure. I actually, I'm going to start a new podcast alongside of Morning Fuel. It's going to be called What the Fail. And I'm going to have folks on that talk about their failure experiences and how they eventually achieve success through that. So look for the What the Fail podcast coming soon. But I found that I've had many different types of jobs in many different industries. I've worked for the shipyard. I've worked in the restaurant industry. I worked for NASA for a short period of time, and each time I was there, I would try and see, okay, how far can I get with this in a manner of, is there room for promotions and like that? And I would look at my supervisors and I would think to myself, do I want their job? And most of the time the answer was no. And I would try and work in a manner where I could perhaps improve the environment or improve the processes. I just had this mind over how would this be easier? Or how would this, make more sense? And I remember going to a supervisor one time and expressing my concerns about a process at the job that seemed to me to be over redundant and take way too much time. And we were always, told to adhere to a strict schedule, and we needed to get this information to them in a timely manner. But it seemed to me like the process was making that time, just last a whole lot longer. So I went with my idea, and the supervisor looked at me kind of in a manner of, I could almost hear her saying, we've been doing it this way for 25 years, and she said to me, she said, you can take your Burger King, systems and processes elsewhere. This is NASA. And I remember thinking to myself, well, Burger King's, a multi-billion-dollar company. I think I'd rather start something like that, and do things my way. So, I've kind of been, I don't know, I've had ideas and things like that. So I've gone out, I really enjoy, for example, collaborative work environments. Currently I'm at Gather in Newport News. And I know your sponsor for today's episode is Workplace. Great, awesome place. I've been there in Newport News too. So I attempted to start a workplace up in Williamsburg back at the end of 2019, and it failed miserably. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the people that I was getting into business with, and it sort of was a spectacular fail. But at that point, I was ready to learn something from it and move on. And I don't know if what we're doing right now is going to be what we're doing for, I can't even say if it's going to be exactly what we're doing for a year, depending on the way things go. But I'm pretty sure that I'll always have a focus on how can I help people, and what's new and interesting, and let's go and do that. So that's right now it's a video for social media. Next week I don't know what the next TikTok is. So.
Right. And is this I remember meeting your daughter, but tell us a little bit, like it says your team, is it a family affair?
Yeah, it is. My wife owns Morning Fuel podcast. She calls me the talent. She said I had a face for radio a couple of years ago, so I figured I'd go on with that. And my daughter, as I said earlier, she came to me and said that she wanted to be a YouTuber when she was about 14. And I'm thinking, young female on YouTube? No, I don't think so. But, I said, oh, well, this is something we could do, together. So I became her cameraman, director. I helped her write her scripts and did the editing and all that stuff. And we had fun with that. So yeah, we are currently working together as a team. I love it that my daughter actually enjoys going to work. So she's a senior this year at Grafton High School. Mm-hmm. She's getting ready to start her own podcast, interviewing her classmates and teachers. And I'm excited about that. She wants to come to work. She's excited to get here after her half day at school. And so I'm thrilled about that. Thrilled to get to work with my family.
Yeah. Is that her dream, is to join you full-time, or she got sort of college dreams?
Yeah, she says that she feels like she's learning more doing it than going to school. So I think she'll probably, if she wants to learn a subject, take some courses or something like that. But I believe that by the end of her senior year, which she just started her senior year this year, she'll probably walk out of high school owning her own business and having like a 6-figure income. I just see that she's got the chops to do that, which I'm thankful for, because I did not when I was her age.
No, not in high school. Gosh, that's young. But there's some great sort of college courses, and even in high school, the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Hampton Roads seems to really be building. So yeah,
sure. Yeah, she did have an interesting experience this past year, though. She took a marketing class, which she was very excited about, but her instructor had done no marketing. So her instructor, was teaching by the book, which most teachers, do. They have some background or knowledge. and so she wasn't challenged. So that's that's something that she looks for, which is really, really cool. So
yeah, for sure.
So for anyone listening, John, and if they're interested in being on your podcast, how do they go about doing that?
sure, it's very simple. Go to morningfuelpodcast.com, and there is a button that says be a podcast guest. That'll take you to the calendar and you can sign up. I believe we still have a couple of openings in October, and then November may be opening up now. Yeah, November should be open. We're full September and half of October already. So, but
Do
I'd love to share.
ever reject anybody?
What's that?
Do you ever reject anyone?
I haven't yet. So I think everyone's got a story to tell, and I don't know, maybe there will be that one day, but I don't know why that would be. I think it would be interesting, even if it's a train wreck. It'll be interesting.
You can always learn something from it,
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you like, if we talked a little bit about what you've been through in business wise and stuff, but in terms of even just getting to your business and your career to where it is today, what would you say your biggest hurdles have been?
Developing systems and processes. We're still doing that. We have a couple of our highest level paid clients right now, and we also have classes that we're teaching. Getting that stuff in a way that one you had mentioned earlier, making it easy for the guest, making it easier for the client. It's interesting when you get to a point and people are like, take my money. And you go, okay, well, I don't even have a system or process in place for that. So we're just getting things like that in order where people can hand us a credit card. Whereas before it was like, you got cash, so, so that's kind of been interesting. But yeah, systems and processes, and then also setting ourselves up to where we can scale. So understanding we want to help as many people as we can, but if we can only handle 5 clients, well, that would kind of be sad to me. So let's see what we can do to scale the business as well, and making it easy for new hires. We've got people asking us if we're hiring, so that's another cool thing too. I've never had that happen before. So yeah, we want to be a fun place to work, and just a family type culture. So
okay, so in terms of scaling, what do you think is your next step to be able to do that?
Well, we are currently in talks with some virtual assistants. So we find that we can offer great value to our clients if we work in our wheelhouse. And currently, my daughter and I, our sweet spot is being able to sit down and speak with our clients and look at strategy and what do they want, how do they want to appear to their audience, and what works best. So being able to be in that conversation more often with our clients and in that relationship, and being able to hand over some of the heavy lifting when it comes to editing, when it comes to posting on social media. Those are things we can teach anybody. Attitude is one thing. And we'll hire on that. You got a great attitude, we'll hire you. We can teach you the rest of the stuff. Mm-hmm. So, working in that way, being able to duplicate ourselves. So getting folks to a point where we can train them to, be another us, and at least know how to do 80% of what we do, so that they can kind of, take that to more and more clients, and then the sky's the limit.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of small business owners have that issue of delegation, whether they want another person that's just like them or to have the same skills as them. Is very hard to then let go of all of that stuff. So
you gotta let go.
You do, to be able to then grow and scale. You need to be able to hand off some things, as you say, and a virtual assistant is a good way to start that.
Right. Well, I was a bit of a hover parent with my first daughter, and I apologize to Suzanne right now for ruining her. But anyways, No, we did okay, but a little bit less with Kimberly. Kimberly was the one we told to go, hey, you want a bowl of cereal? Go grab the bowl, climb up on the counter, go get it yourself. So I don't want to be a hover boss either. I want to be able to kind of just kind of let go, let them do their own thing. As long as they're representing well, that's what we want, right? As business owners. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Abby, is there anything else you want? I know we're getting close to time, but I was just going to ask, if you wanted any of the listeners or viewers to walk away with anything from having heard this, what would that be?
Don't get into a mindset where you feel like you've arrived or you've got the answer to everything. You got to keep an open mind. You can learn from the lowest level employee, something that can change your life, something that can change your business. And one thing that my 9-to-5 employer, because I am still currently employed at a 9-to-5. It's a marketing firm based in Florida called Dynamic Marketing Consultants. Awesome people, Devin and Jen, they're beautiful. His mantra is always be learning. So ABL, always be learning. So if you want to learn something, currently Kimberly, my daughter, and I are wanting to offer more value to our clients. So we paid for an expensive course to help people show up better on Instagram. So we're going through that course right now, and then we're able to offer that knowledge to our current clients and future clients. So always be learning.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. As you say, like we can learn from our clients, but there's also skills that you need to learn to be able to help those clients. Yeah. So it's a good way to be. And so my last question, I know Abby's probably got something to say, but what is something that we don't know about you, or what generally people don't know about you? Share us a secret.
Generally people don't know that I am a Jedi on TikTok. So at Bundy-Wan Kenobi on TikTok. Back in 2019, when TikTok was first fresh, I wanted to see what it was about, and I wanted to see how it worked. So I would recommend that to anybody. You hear something comes out, try it out. And so I have a few things I love, and two of them are Jesus and Star Wars. So I put both together, and I'm a Jedi that reads the Bible on TikTok. So that's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, Kylie stole both of my questions, so
I'm so sorry.
we will just wrap it up. Thank you so much, John, for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, so you've been listening to the Retail Is podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, you can find more at retailalliance.com/retail-is-podcast or search YouTube for Retail Alliance. I'm Abby Cheyenne.
And I'm Kylie Ross-Seibert.
Thanks for listening.